we have a great special guest in the lair.
Yeah.
It's really exciting. Um, so I learned about this creator through like one of the ads. Like these ads for this comic was just popping up on my feed, and I was like, all
Yeah.
right, I need to check on this and figure out what this is. And the art floored
100%.
me. The
Yeah.
art is amazing. It's just amazing.
Art is amazing, and this is a prime example of someone who knows what they're doing in terms of how to put on a proper Kickstarter, how
Mm,
to advertise and build hype leading up to the launch instead of just throwing it out there and expecting people to find it through osmosis. How to like give the people the drama and the entertainment before they even know what the story is about for real. Like
facts,
when I
because I
tell
didn't know a
you
single thing when I backed that Kickstarter.
my little variant heart, my variant loving heart was like, hey, yo, every time I hopped on the app, I was seeing a different variant that was like an homage or a callback to some other pop cultural moment that I could easily recognize. And they tied it in so well. And you heard it. It was going around. It made the round. So
The
prime
music
example of
references,
how you're supposed to do
Chef's
that.
Kiss. Just to let y'all know, like if you do know about dark pink, because that's what we're talking about. The
Yes.
variant covers are gorgeous. We have this Sade reference, right? We have, hold on. My favorite is the Prince reference. Just because of these two variants, I had to get, like, I got 3 copies of the same book, which is not
Period.
something I typically get. Y'all know me,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a cover A person only.
Mm-hmm. But when the variants hit like that, you can't help but do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man. It was great. So we gonna welcome to the stage. Hold on. I gotta time this right. You go ahead and get get the introduction, and I got the buttons to press. Go ahead.
Okay. Welcome to the stage. We have the creator of Dark Pink, Christopher. Come on out here, man.
Hey, hey.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Yes.
Hey, how are you doing?
I am doing great. How are you two doing?
We
We're
are
living
doing
good. We're
wonderful.
grateful that you're here, man. I need y'all to
Yes.
know that when he came into the backstage area, okay, the way that my FOMO just turned everything, every other part of my brain off, and I immediately started gagging over the storm figure that's behind him.
What's this right here?
I was like, what do you
Yeah.
mean?
Bree snapped, she threatened somebody's grandmother. It was a whole
I
thing.
literally was like, y'all, I literally told him, I was like, the way that I am fully prepared to light someone's grandmother on fire for that figure behind you, like
Just
actually, like
violent.
full on peak villain behavior. And what's crazy is the figure that he actually has is rarer, however you say
More
this,
rare. Yeah.
more rare than the one that I actually thought it was. So I have to hear from you because he started explaining it and I was like, hold on, all the pause. We got to hear this on the show so that people know. See, other people in the chat are also gagging because it's very peak. But we have to hear about the figures because that's just the first one that caught my eye. But you have to give
Mm.
us like a quick little shelf tour.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So yeah, this is a Storm statue. It's from a company called XM Studios. They're based in Singapore, and it is a very rare, hard to get statue because they don't have the license to do Marvel characters to produce them and sell them in the United States. So
Mhm.
they only sell them in Asia.
Yeah.
And so I was in a Facebook group and I saw it, and there was a guy that's like, "Oh, well, I can ship it to you from over here." Now
Wow.
the shipping costs almost as much as the statue, but it was worth it. I've had it for like 5 or 6 years. It's beautiful. It actually can switch poses. You can switch your hands. There's another head, all kind of crazy stuff.
Mm.
But I mean, I love the white suit Storm. That's my favorite Storm. Looks great. It has crazy presence. I have a few other statues, but that's one of my favorites. I mean, I love Storm anyway. It looks great. It's super rare. It's a nice talking piece. So yeah, I got that, and then I have a really old Doctor Doom over here from Sideshow, American company. And then up top, if you could see, I got a Miles Morales, also from Sideshow. I took the mask off so you can see Miles' face. And then I have a Thanos sitting on his throne about to do the snap. So
I love that.
So yeah, I have a few others on the side, but I can't turn my computer over there. But those are like my main ones that I sit on the other side here at my desk and just look over at. So yeah, I make comics, but I'll read comics. I'm a big comic book nerd. It's part of me, and just being able to actually create one of my own was always like a dream I had. And I'm just so happy that I was able to make it happen, and that people are actually responding pretty well to it, and I can keep it going. So yeah, this is just kind of like the beginning for me.
Period. Okay, so we fangirled a little bit, but we can segue into our core questions, because that is one question that we like to ask all of our guests who come visit us here in the Pink Riot Lair, and that is, what is your comic book origin story? So like, what got you into reading and enjoying comics, and then what got you into creating comics?
Actually the Batman the animated series and the original X-Men Saturday morning cartoon were the first things that kind of introduced me to comic book characters. And then once I, started watching those shows, because I was a big, I was an 80s baby and grew up in the 80s and the 90s. So Saturday morning cartoons, but I started out as like a G.I. Joe and a Transformers person. Like, I love some Transformers. So I started out with that, but then I kind of moved over more into comics. Like once I saw the Batman animated series and the X-Men series. And it was just like seeing like Storm, for example, as like a Black representation of a superhero. Like I kind of knew a little bit about it just from osmosis, you just kind of pick that stuff up, but to actually see her like at the beginning, like I didn't even know she was African. Like I saw her and I was like, oh, okay, there's a Black woman, that's cool. But then when I started watching the show and saw that she had an African accent, I was like, oh, that's even cooler and more unique, because at that time in the 80s and 90s, the representation for like Black characters basically in anything, let alone like comics and stuff like that, was rare. To start. So you kind of had to kind of pick up your bits and pieces. And where I lived, like we didn't have a comic book shop anywhere like near me. So I didn't actually start going to comic book shops until I was in college. Because at my college in Austin, there was a comic book shop like not that far away. So that's when I started to actually really get into reading it and moving from just like being a fan of like the X-Men and like kind of knowing who Black Panther and like Luke Cage were, into like an actual avid reader. And
what was your first comic that you picked up in college?
The first one I picked up it was an X-Men. I'm not gonna lie. You got to go with what you know.
Exactly.
So I picked up a couple of X-Men. I didn't like know like how things work, like getting you can pull comics and doing all that kind of stuff. Like I just walked in there. I was like, oh, let me go look at the X-Men section, and whichever covers look the coolest, I'll just get those. And that's kind of just how I started, because I didn't know like the artists, the writers, any of that stuff. I was just really like, let me just kind of ease my way into it. And I also bought like a Superman issue. Like the Death of Superman actually was probably the first comic book I actually read, but it wasn't my copy. Like I got it from someone else when I was a little younger before that.
Mm-hmm.
And that really stuck with me because when they first announced that they were going to do it, that was something that I was able to hear about because it was such a big deal.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and then like reading it, and I was like a little emotional kid, so it made me sad. Like it really did, and it was just like a very like a touching story because in the Death of Superman, it's basically Superman fighting Doomsday until he literally can't anymore. Like he literally just runs out of energy and stamina, and that's the reason he falls. But he was fighting him for days, trying to protect Metropolis, and falls at the very end just because Doomsday had an unlimited motor, like he just wouldn't stop. And it was like a really heroic thing and a very sad thing, and like something like emotional that I didn't even know like comic books would do that kind of stuff. So that stuck with me. And then yeah, just transitioning to like trying to see more people of color like in comics. And that's actually one of the reasons why I set Dark Pink in the 80s, is because I would have loved to have seen something like Dark Pink when I was a kid. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
So I'm kind of like replaying a bit of my childhood, putting something out there that would have resonated with a younger version of me to see, you know, like on a bookshelf.
I
Nice.
love that. Yo, the music that you have, like
Yeah.
for those who are listening to the podcast, like Dark Pink opens up with Sade, Smooth Operator. And let me tell you, I immediately was like, oh, pause. I put the song on, literally had the song playing in the background as I'm reading it. And I'm like, it just sets the mood. And I love when stories do that. It makes it more immersive. It makes it, you know, you can get into it more. I absolutely loved that choice that you made. Every single song that's like referenced in this book, perfection, my guy.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, it's that was something very important to me, like to try to incorporate music into the comic. I thought that would be like a unique thing to do, and it's also just something that I, you know, enjoy. Like Sade is my favorite singer, so one of the very first things I decided when I thought about, even before I even started working on it, I had the thought 20 years ago to work on this. But I couldn't draw, and at that time I didn't know anybody that could draw, so it was just like kind of a pipe dream. But I had walked into my comic book shop to get my pull for that month, and I saw Daughters of the Dragon #2. And Misty Knight and Colleen Wing were on the cover. Like I didn't even know who Misty Knight was at this point, but the cover of #2 in 2006, it has like Misty standing in the background, like with her fist up, and Colleen is like on, you know, in a b-boy stance with a powder blue Adidas sweatsuit on and a cane.
Yeah,
standing over somebody that, you know, Misty just knocked out. I was like, what is this? You know. Like I'd never seen like a black person and hip hop culture like melded into a comic book like that, and I was like, I got to do something like that. And as a comic book fan and also like a music fan, like I was like, okay, I want to put some music in there, and I got to have like Shot is my favorite singer, so I got to do this cover. That's going to be a cover no matter what, and if it takes 30 years or whatever.
yeah.
I gotta do the Love Deluxe. It's a classic. I was like, I gotta do it with my character and have that. And then the Purple Rain cover with Prince. Prince is like my other favorite, like my favorite male singer. And I was like, I gotta get these guys, you know, I gotta get my people, you know, into my project. And you know, I don't know if you guys remember the show New York Undercover.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
hugely underrated, one of the best shows to me ever. Like I love that show. I even like the last season when Tommy came and was the boss and stuff like that. But you know how every episode started with like they're setting the case that they're gonna do, and it's like basically a music video. They set it to music, like no dialogue, just the action with some music. And I was like, I'm gonna do that for the comic book. So that's why it starts. It has the cold open with him finding his next victim to Smooth Operator. And I'm starting the work on the second issue, and it's going to have the same thing. It's going to start with a song, and like setting the case up. And it may or may not be based on an artist that just had a biopic come out, and their spooky song that would probably fit in the story. It may or may not have anything to do with that.
Say less. I know you're about to cut up with those variants too. Just oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Before we start talking about issue 2, we have to talk about the fact that we had a whole Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song like redone for this comic. That was so very peak, and it was like the perfect amount of like nostalgia to make you just be like, "Oh yeah, they ate this up. They ate this up." Please tell us about what that was like. Was that something that you were like, "Oh, I have to have this in there," and we worked it around it, or it just happened to work out that way? Give us the steps of how you got to that.
Yeah, that was another one of those things. Like I wanted to try to incorporate like some way somehow, because I kind of like describe the series as this like Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Stranger Things meets Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So because it's kind of like she's kind of fish out of water and has like all the musical and the hip hop elements, so it kind of fits into what we're doing. So I was like, how do I incorporate that into this? Because when I started it, I wasn't sure if this was going to be successful or not. So I'm like, I'm putting in everything that I want to put into this one, just in case so they don't let me make another one. So
I know that's right.
Hey, you
so
make the
that's why
comic
I
for
did the
you.
Sade. Yeah, that's why I did the Sade and the Prince, and I was like, I gotta get this Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I can just do like a short story, be like the intro for the show. And Danny Perez, he's a young artist from LA. Like he's like 20 years old, like super young, very talented guy. He hadn't even seen the show. And I was like, go watch the YouTube video and we're gonna do it. We're gonna knock this thing on out. And he did a wonderful job. I was glad that I was able to kind of do the writing. It kind of fits in because it's like like I said, a fish out of water story. And I thought it would work well. And then to see it like when I wrote it and then having Danny actually to knock it out, like I thought it came out perfectly. Like the cover is one of my favorite visuals from the entire project. I just love, I just think it looks great. I love the Jordans she's wearing, like the seat, the graffiti. Like I got to pick out like what to put in the background graffiti. So there's a couple Easter eggs, a couple like personal things. So yeah, it was just one of those things that, like I said, I wanted to put in everything that I could think of, anything I thought people could connect with, and that they would enjoy. Hopefully, they would enjoy as much as I.
That's dope. And I like how you keep saying it's a fish out of water story because it definitely is. For those that don't know, Dark Pink, we're talking about this British woman who is in New Orleans and she is she's like a beginner detective. You can see her like reading Detective for Dummies in the beginning, you know, and she is on her first case. And like that first issue is her solving that first case and dealing with, you know, what's happening. And so like my question for you is how did you come up with this fish in the water story? What made you say, let's put this black woman in the 1980s, this British black woman in New Orleans?
Well, like I said, like I wanted to do once I saw that Daughters of the Dragon and I saw Misty Knight for the first time, I fell in love with her. She's just right below Storm as my favorite female comic book character because she's so cool. She's strong, she's smart, she's dynamic. like the metallic arm is cool. Like I love characters with metallic arms. Love her, Bucky, Cable, all of that just is an aesthetic that I personally like for whatever reason. So I wanted to kind of do something similar to Misty, but I needed to kind of like throw in some curveballs, make it my own type of thing. So I grew up. My dad, he was a huge James Bond fan, so we would watch James Bond movies all the time. So British culture was like a very unique and interesting thing to me. And so I was like, okay, I can make her British. I think that that'll be cool. We can have some fun with the dialogue. It'll make her kind of stand out a little bit. I said it in the 80s because, like I said, I wanted to create something that could have come out in the 80s and represented us like at that time. Because like the 80s and up to like the early 90s, it was a dearth of like Black comic book characters. They kind of like Marvel peaked in the 70s with their creation of like new Black characters. And then they didn't do anything basically until Miles Morales came out, you know. So I wanted to have like, you know, do my kind of part to like pretend fill in the gap. And I think the 80s is a unique time. A lot of comics are set in like modern day New York, or fake modern day New York, or in a cyberpunk future or a dystopian future. So I was like, well, let's do something in the 80s in New Orleans. And New Orleans has like such a interesting history, its connection to mysticism, to the occult, the culture, Creole, the food, the music, the style. It's a place where, you know, at least in a comic book world, if someone says to another person, yo, I just saw a vampire, that person would be just as likely to say, I did too, as they would say, no way. Yeah. So I thought that would be a place where monsters can be there without like being it having to be such a like a standout thing. Just a grounded in reality, even though you know it's vampires and stuff, but to make it a little more realistic in that type of situation. And setting in the 80s also gives you the chance to have it where you know, information isn't as widely spread. Like, you know, someone can't just put their cell phone and record that werewolf running down the street, you know. Someone, you know, someone goes to a detective and says this stuff, and then that person has to like be open to believing it and investigating it and looking into it. And so, yeah, you know, I just thought it would be something, put all those together, something that is a unique, like kind of setting and a setup for a comic book.
Absolutely. Jana said, love the footnote said in the most British of accents. I literally laughed out loud because I read it just normally and then switched it up how I read it in my head after I read that. And I was like, if that was intentional, that was absolutely perfect and hilarious, because why don't more people do that? That was funny to me.
Yeah. I like when writers add those kind of like extra little notes and stuff, you know, into their books. It gives it a little more personality. It shows that they're thinking about the reader. You know, I just wanted it to be something that's fun and interesting, and you know, you can look at it and you're like, oh, okay, like he gets it. So you know, like I'm trying to build something, build a world, build a character that people can relate to and they can rock out with.
That is super dope. Okay, so, and forgive me because I am absolutely horrible with names, but Dara's I'm not gonna friend, the guy who is working with her, right? Like,
yes, Trey.
What Trey? Sorry, but like, so like, what was the inspiration behind his character? Like, how did you come to the decision to create this? Not necessarily sidekick, but like this person, this guardian, you know, in a way for her.
Well, Trey is technically Dara's intern.
Yeah.
He's also young as well. He just graduated from college. They're both like 21, 22 years old. Bringing it back to James Bond, and he's basically the Q to her James Bond. Like he's the tech guy, the more like, hey, maybe don't go do this thing because it might be dumb or you might get killed type of thing.
Yes.
You know, kind of the person kind of keep her grounded.
Common sense.
Yeah. And you know, because you got to have that balance. You know, creating a character, like she has to be bold. She has to do like things that people will consider like dangerous or dumb or whatever.
Yeah.
And I hate when characters like do that and there's like no one's like mentioning how kind of ridiculous this is.
Yeah, there's no checks and balances around them.
Yeah, yeah. So he's there to be like, hey, like go ahead, I guess, but this is not a really good idea. So it was like I wouldn't do it, but you know, you're technically my boss, so you know, like I'm gonna ride out with you, but you know, you did got to have like a voice of reason, also like a little bit of comic relief. I kind of modeled him after Dwayne Wayne from A Different World.
Yeah.
So another one of my favorite shows and one of my favorite characters. Like, and you know, she has like a little bit of Whitley Gilbert in her as well. So like their relationship, in a lot of ways, is kind of similar to Dwayne and Whitley's relationship on A Different World, except for you know, like they're fighting monsters.
Yes. Yeah, that was definitely showcased really well when she was planning to go in undercover to try to find out as much as she could about the sister and their little back and forth. That was hilarious. I'm like, okay, I hope that nothing happens to him because he's hilarious and he's the only one that's gonna like speak to her about like the common sense aspect of what she's doing. I also thought that was really cool that you gave us a different spin on the like parents missing as the motivation as to why she's doing what she's doing and even deciding to be, you know, jumping into detective work or whatever. So, yeah, there's lots of moving pieces, but they all work together really well. And the relationships that you displayed while she's doing all of this were very on point, very well done.
Thank you. Like, yeah, their relationship is very important to like the story. So he's definitely gonna be around. He is like the number two character,
Okay.
you know, in the story. Like he works there, and he's gonna be like a major part of actually the issue number 2. Because I've completed the outline. I actually started working on the script from about 7 pages in, and it's gonna be they're going to be going to his alma mater. And so part of that is going to be at his college. He attended a HBCU in New Orleans. So part of the story is going to involve them going to his school to kind of investigate some stuff. So so yeah, he's there. That's my guy. Like he would be, if I was there, he would be me because I'm not going to fight a vampire. Now, the other person with a metallic arm and the gun and the sword, like she can go ahead and knock that out, I guess.
That part.
But I'm not doing it. But you know, I'll tell her like maybe you know be a little cautious, and then I'll drive the getaway car. But you know, so he's a lot. He's the closest version to me. Like I could kind of sneak into the comic.
Nice. Okay, that answered one of my other questions. Which character do you see yourself the most in? So you're like, I'm just gonna put myself in here, you know.
Yeah, they
That's
say
awesome.
write what you know. So
Period. Okay. Now you mentioned that you're already starting working on issue 2. I'm curious what do you see this story how do you see this story taking shape in terms of length of issues?
I am trying to build like a complete like world. Like I want my goal for the series is to go to basically take Dara from being an inexperienced like rookie detective in her early 20s in the 80s to her being in her mid to late 30s in the 90s. And by that time, she's basically Batman. She's the world's greatest detective.
Mm.
So
Okay.
we have like a really I have a lot of stuff that I want to put into the issues. So it'll be like every issue will be like a kind of like a monster of the week type of thing where there's a case, but then there's the overarching story of like her parents and what happened and him and some other stuff. So I have 6 issues already kind of mapped out in my
Nice.
head, and we're still in the 80s by that time. So, and like I said, like I want to get her. Basically, I want her to become Misty Knight at some point. Right now, she's she's not like well versed in what she's doing. She's putting herself in very dangerous situations because she doesn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And I want to take everyone on a journey from that to her, like I said, basically just being Batman and just wrecking shop and like doing some really, really amazing things by the end of the story. So yeah, now that the first one went so well, thankfully, big shout out to every single person who supported it. Now I know that the proof of concept is there, that people are interested. They want to take this ride with Dara, and so yeah, I'm gonna try to pump them out like a little faster. Like this is my first one, so I didn't know what I was doing either. I was Dara.
That's crazy that you went
This is
that ham on the
yeah.
first one. You have to give us you don't have to give us every grimy detail, but you got to give us like what that process was like, because you said you had this idea 20 years ago. So like the idea came, and obviously there was a lot of production. You put your time, you said you took your time and your money because there was things that had to be in that first issue, because you were like, I don't know if we're doing anything else after this. So we get that. But for you to have done such an exceptionally good job with your
Yes.
Kickstarter, and this is your first time, I feel like the people don't have those like kind of weird, awkward, give us the path forward type of conversation. So if you wouldn't mind like sharing a bit about what that was like and how you went about it.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, like I said, I had the idea like a long time ago, and I didn't think that I could really execute it. I never thought it was really going to be possible, at least to make a comic book. So eventually, what I did was I wrote a script. I wrote a television pilot, and then I wrote like a full length film script for it because I was like, well, maybe some way somehow I could make it a TV show or a film. So I did that probably like 10 years ago, and uh, after that, so like I had the story, like I was good to go. I kind of had everything kind of settled as far as like what I wanted to tell. Then maybe around COVID, when I was at the house, it did kind of dawn on me that I actually could make it a comic book. Now thanks to like social media, like you can get in contact with artists. Like that was my biggest hurdle young, was that I was like, I can't draw and I don't know anyone. And so, and I didn't know how to get in contact with anyone. But now on Instagram, like all of the artists that I work with, Robin Smith, she's done like Nubia for DC, and she did
Watch
like,
They
Cautionary.
Diaries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I literally just DM'd her on Instagram.
Period. Shoot your shot. I know that's
Yeah,
right.
Right?
and she's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll do it. That's fine." And I was like, "Okay, I want to do the Sade thing." She's like, "Oh, I love it. Boom, boom. We're all good." Karan Grant has also done stuff for Marvel. I DM'd him, and he was like, "Sure, here's my fee, and if you could," and I was like, "Okay, I got that." So went ahead and did that. He was like, "Oh, like I love the concept. I love the characters. Like I have some ideas about the cover, like what to do." And I was like, "Well, I actually have an idea. I didn't want to do the purple rain thing." He's like, "Oh, forget it. That's what we're doing." Because he said he didn't he didn't even buy. He's like, I have no ideas now. We're gonna do that. So yeah, just like linking up with them. it gave me like a really good start. And Kari Evans, who did the Malcolm X inspired cover, he's the one that did the cover for Daughters of the Dragon #2. So
oh, full circle.
yeah, he was the person who
Yeah.
got me on this path, and I was able to find him. He wasn't even on Instagram, but I found him some way somehow, and I emailed him, and I was like, you know, your art is the reason why I'm even doing this comic book. Would you do a cover? And he was like, absolutely, you know, because he's retired, and he was like, well,
Wow, that's a flex.
Yeah,
Why
that's
doesn't come out of retirement?
beautiful.
so he did that,
Yeah.
and he also did the Maneater short story. He did the Dara X cover and the short story that was based on Blade. That's another thing I threw in there. I was like, I gotta get this Blade introductory scene in here because again, I might not make another one. So I saved up. Basically, what I did is I got with them. I was like, okay, I have some art. I did some research to figure out how much it would cost to do the comic, to create all of the art and get it printed and shipping out. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna save up some money. So I saved up money for like 2 years. So I had enough money to where I figured I could like make it. And then like right before I was gonna do it, I'd already had, you know, started talking to everybody about the covers and stuff. I saw a video on how to launch a comic book Kickstarter. And I was like, hey, that's actually sounds like a pretty good idea. If I use the money that I saved to put into marketing, then I can get that money back and have the fan base already there. Because I was about to spend all this money and then I was gonna have to spend a bunch of money to build the fan base.
Yeah.
So I went ahead and spent the money first to build the fan base and to see if people would be interested in it. Yeah, because a lot of people, like you guys were saying at the a little earlier, you just like kind of throw their Kickstarter into the ether and it just kind of fades away, especially Black comic book creators. Like I go on Kickstarter like almost every day just to look at the comic books. And you know, a lot of them get funded and stuff, but the ones by Black creators, their success rate is much lower. And it's
harder
because
to find them.
Yeah, because Kickstarter doesn't do anything for you. They're just like the middleman. They just you push send and boom, it's on there, and that's it. That's all they do. So you can't just put it on there and just magically think it's going to find anybody. Even mine, even though it is very successful, looking at the numbers, I think like 5%, 7% came from Kickstarter, like from the Kickstarter page. Like everything else came from the marketing efforts. So you have to spend money on marketing. Like my biggest tips are to get a few pieces of art, like a cover and just like 2 pages. That's really all you need. Because you got to show people, you know, a lot of people just do like text, like here's my story, and it's like, well, this is a visual medium. You got to give them something. Or they're using AI and all that stuff looks the same, and it's like, well, that's not going to inspire anybody to spend any money either.
Right.
So
Exactly.
create a couple pieces of art. Like you have to spend a little bit of money. You have to. You can't just like wish it into success. Spend a little money, create some art, spend some money on some advertising, and then you can you know, start to build your fan base and see if people will react positively to your character. Like I always thought my character, I thought Dara, I thought people would like her because I like her. I thought she was cool and unique and all that good stuff. But of course I did. I'm a creator, so I'm super biased. But you know, the marketing showed that people did react positively to her. And it only happened because I put it in enough places for people to see it, for people to react well to it. So you have to, you know, I was talking to somebody, and they were like, oh, well, that's going to take a long time. And I'm like, the time's going to pass anyway. You know what I'm saying? If it takes a year or 2 years, those years, Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to happen anyway. So you want to set it up properly so you can ensure like your success. You know, like this is going so well now that for me that I can hopefully turn this into like my full time career. You know, within like the next year or so. Like once I'm able to, you know, get my my scheduling down to get the pipeline ready. You know, where I can drop one every 3 months instead of once a year.
Ooh.
You know,
That's
then
nice.
you know,
I'm like, that's a well-oiled machine every 3 months.
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
like I said, I have the stories and like the interior artist PJ Well, he's like worked for like Marvel and Ubisoft. He did like the Assassin's Creed comic book, like the whole thing.
Oh,
Um,
solid.
Nice.
he's like ready to go. Like he's like, you give me the script, I'll knock it out. So it's just a matter of, you know, like I work and I have to do life
Adult
and
things, right?
yeah, got an adult up in here. But you know, once you know, we can kind of get the second one out, like I think I'll, you know, we'll be able to build the momentum to keep things going at a really nice pace. And I have like other ideas, like I want to do like a manga like prequel with Dara, like at her boarding school in the UK. And
Yeah.
then maybe do a little one where like her college days, and then basically be like a different world, like a maybe like a six issue like little short story with that. I want to do some stuff about her parents, like what they were doing before. Like I want to do like more like 80s like horror film parodies, like in the universe. Like I'm working on a story that's kind of like a Welcome to Derry slash A Nightmare on Elm Street meets New Jack City. This is going to be set in like a housing project in Harlem, you know, with Dara's college roommate as the lead protagonist because it'll be in New York City. So it'll be kind of like a parallel thing, like kind of build out a whole little universe. So I just need the time to get all of this stuff out, and we should be, you know, like I got ideas for days. Like I said, I've been working on this sitting on this for 20 years. So
Yeah.
if nothing else, I got some stories.
Hey.
That is so dope. And I'm so
Right?
excited that you, as a Black artist, as a Black creator, like you're able to be like, you are on track to being able to take care of yourself on just this.
Yeah.
Because we know so many writers and other creators who aren't able to do this. So like, yo, the biggest props to you, like to be able
Thank
to do
you.
this. That's
I
amazing.
appreciate it. Like, yeah, no, it's a blessing. Like the response from people was like overwhelming. Like I couldn't believe like we did 1,720 orders on Kickstarter. It's like the top 1% of like comic book Kickstarters ever. Like it's only people that are above us are literally like Marvel artists that release their like art book, their books of their covers, you know.
Yes.
So
Yes.
like licensed IPs and stuff like that. We're very high up there, and it's been a blessing. But you know, it was a lot of work in marketing. You have to market. I have to tell people you got to market your stuff. So
Yes. And for those who like want to have a number connected to this, you were initially only asking for like 10 grand and y'all ended up getting like almost 81,000, which is
yeah,
wild. Yeah.
yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah. We beat it like we made like 13,000 the first day in the first 24 hours. And I was
Peak.
just like, I
Peak.
was shocked. I was just because I was like, okay, if I can sell like 400 or 500, then cool. I mean, you know, if I can get like 10 people to buy this shirt, you know, like that'll be great. Like I did the, you know, make yourself a character thing, and I was like, I think I can get like 5 people to do that. Like 2 of them are like my cousins. And we had like 40 something people. Like I had to add the one of the short stories. I had to add that and the PSAs. I had to add that because I had so many people that actually wanted to be in the
Come
comic.
on, good problems.
So yeah, no,
right.
very, very good problem. So yeah, I'm just very, very grateful for people like just reacting positively to this. Because like I said, it's like a dream of mine to create this and to have it come out, be successful. It looks great. Like it looks better than it. I've been thinking about for 20 years. It looks better than what I thought it could ever look like. And I'm just so proud of like the work that the art team did. They listened to a guy who didn't know what he was doing and they made it look really, really good. And, you know, everyone was patient with me and
Wait, hold on. What we're not about to do is play like you didn't know what you were doing, okay?
Right.
Because you may not have done it before, but that 20 plus years of like planning and preparation and putting it
Multiple
in your mind and
formats of
all
the
of that.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like just like how we're talking about like calling you a writer or creator or whatever, you also got to throw businessman on there because we've had these conversations recently with people about Kickstarters and about what it looks like from a buyer's perspective and how you have to kind of step out of your creator bag to really think of it as a business and what will
Yes.
actually reap the the benefits that you're looking for. LT in the comments says that's what I hear. If you get the target on the first day on Kickstarter, it puts the campaign in a different tier and visibility based on their algorithm. That's
It
like more
does.
than a notion. People dream of being able to reach their entire goal like on the first day. So like, and people
Yeah.
are already in the chat saying thank you, for dropping gems and stuff like that. But just for like full context, give people the timeline of like how far ahead of the actual launch date you were doing ads.
I started running ads maybe like it was a while. I think like 4 months ahead. Basically, once I got the 3 covers, which was in the summer of 2024, I was like, okay, well, let's go ahead and just start like building the hype. Like we built like a landing page before I got my website Dark Pink Comics up and running. Like I got a smaller one with a landing page so people could like send their email and they could and I encourage people to go over to, and I launched like the pre-launch page on Kickstarter as well so people could follow that. Because you might as well, like as soon as you're ready to start to put the information out there, you might as well start because you don't have to launch the Kickstarter like as soon as you have everything. You can build it up slowly. You can like just have people go sign up.
Yeah.
We had a thing like trying to like teach people how to sign up for Kickstarter because I knew a lot of people didn't know really what that process really entails, because it's not like it's not like pre-ordering a book or anything. So just kind of get the ball rolling because you can also see what's working and what's not working. You can see if like this phrasing like grabs people's attention and this one doesn't. Like this piece of art people like, and this one they're not reacting so well to. And then you can kind of build it from there. Like we got a really good reaction. Like I had a guy do a picture of Dara as like a vampire.
Yeah.
And with the bucket hat on and the Adidas jumpsuit. Because I was like that in a picture, if someone's never seen something like that'll kind of give someone at least an idea of what's going on here.
Yeah.
And so like people reacted really, really well to that. And so like, okay, we're off to like a very good start. Show them the Prince cover. I knew that was gonna go. I would have like walked out of the whole project if people didn't react well to the Prince cover. I just knew it. It was just so well done. I knew it. Like that's when I kind of knew. I was like, okay, I think I might have something here. So yeah, it's one of those things where you give yourself time to work out the kinks before you really launch stuff. Because once you launch it,
That's
then
it.
that's it. So like I hate to see projects that don't hit their goals, and see people like have to retry. I mean, you can always retry, but I see people will just do it, just put it up again, like, and don't change anything. And it's like, you have to be willing to take her constructive criticism, like, and adjust. And it's not just about you as a creator and your project. Like, you want people to buy it, you want people to invest in your vision, so you have to meet them where they are as well.
Yeah.
A lot of like artists are very like, it's my baby and it has to be exactly like this. And I know how it feels, because I had to cut some stuff from Dark Pink #1 that hurts me to this day.
Like what?
Oh
Can you tell
yeah. And will it show
We
up
nosy,
somewhere
we wanna
else?
know.
Right?
Okay, so Dark Pink #1, the official version, the whole entire story takes place over like 2 or 3 days. It's a very short, window. The original version takes place over a week. So there's a lot of stuff. There's like days in between the first 2 times she goes undercover, like days, stuff happens. I had to cut 2 characters. Like literally they are not in there, and I needed them to be in there. So and that's the way to get them into the second one, but they're not even, we got characters that are just not even in the book.
Wow.
The ending is slightly different as well. It's just, but you gotta
edit.
Yeah, you gotta edit. You gotta be able to let go of things. There's some really good jokes in there too that I was just like, man, I can't.
I'm sorry. Editing is fine. I also would like to know if you'll ever create that original comic and put it as a reward in a future Kickstarter.
Yes, that's my plan. Like I
Okay.
want to see the original version of Dark Pink #1 someday. So maybe
All right,
like,
hold on, Christopher. Just hear me out, because we are obsessed with omnibuses around these parts. So when the arc is done, we want that sexy hardcover omnibusy with all of the extra content in the back or something.
yeah,
And you gotta have like little us in the bottom, like pointing at it. Pink Riot said he had to make this or something.
I got you covered. I mean, there's actually a page that was done, like written, completed, drawn, colored, lettered, that I had to take out. There's literally a page I have just sitting there, and it's a good page too, because this is with Dara and him, like before they get to the house, like their ride to the house. And I was like, I don't have enough space, and I got to do this other thing. I was like, it's a completed page. There's just that I look at sometimes. I'm like, man, that's a good page. This is really good. So yeah, I definitely, my goal is to do the full Dark Pink #1, maybe like next year on the 2-year anniversary or something like that, to get it done, because this is like maybe 15 pages of content.
Wow.
Yeah.
On my computer, just written, ready to go. So, but yeah, like I had to do it, and like I still think the story came out really well. And it kind of sets the table. I think we show like Dara's personality. We dropped a few hints about like her family, and kind of set the stage to kind of keep telling the story. So even though it's not my 100% full vision, I think it's a complete story that someone can sit and read front to back and enjoy.
Yes.
Nice. Dwayne says we need an uncut version. So yeah, maybe when the next, couple issues come out, the next couple Kickstarters down the line, it's like that could be a add-on or something. You could get the uncut version.
The director's cut. I love
it.
Yeah.
I want to do it just as bad as anybody wants to see it. I want to do it, because it was really good. It'll make a good movie. That's for sure. So
Nice.
Nice.
I'm here for that.
Yes, LT, the director's edition. LT's got jokes. He said, LOL,
Right.
picture it. Sicily, 1945. Pink Riot omnibus for the fam. Cause I'm a pitch it every time. Every
Yeah.
time.
No,
When I-
it's coming as long as people keep supporting what we're doing. Like I would love to do it. Like I have had a really great time like working on this and talking to people and getting like seeing people's reactions to it. It's a validating thing. You work on something like really hard and for like a long time, and there are times like I thought it was good, but I wasn't sure if it was going to be successful or if I could actually get it to the finish line. And to get it there and have people like really react well to it and like give me that confidence and that reassurance that we are on the right path and we can create like a really cool independent Black comic book starring a really awesome Black woman doing really awesome things and in a unique place and a unique time. Yeah, I think that is something that like I got a plenty of stories to tell with her, and I think people will continue to enjoy it because that I will say this is not my best writing. Like I know I can do a better job because this is my first writing a comic book. I've written books and scripts before, but writing a comic book is something else. Like I learned a lot, and also the artist really helped me kind of like tighten things up as well. But I know like I feel so much more confident just like looking at like the 7 pages that I have so far on number 2 done.
Hey.
I'm like this is looking really nice, so I'm excited.
Okay, we're excited to see you step into your bag. Jana says Dark Pink and Pink Riot collab limited San Diego Comic-Con variant. She said it, not me, but it sounds like a good idea. I don't know if you've seen any of this, but when you first started doing promotion for Dark Pink, we had people asking us if it was our book or if we had anything to do with it.
No, I can see that. I can see
we're like,
that.
nah,
Yeah.
it's really cool. We love it. We're definitely going to support it, but we can't take credit for that.
No, it fits like with the whole vibe. That's why I reached out to you guys. Like it's like it's all syncing up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like I feel like it's something that like your audience and my audience are the same.
Yes.
Like
Agreed.
the things that you guys like are things that I like or things that they like. And we can all just kind of come together and do some cool stuff. And like I said, having a Black female led comic book, something very important for me because I'm just in general I'm a fan of Black women. 10 out of 10 do recommend. So I wanted to get something out there in a positive light that shows like how amazing you all are. And we can't have enough positive Black female images in all forms of media, really. So if I can play my little part to help it out, then I'm more than happy. And that's something that's very important that I'm trying to specifically do with Dara is to present her in a positive, empowering, and just a light where, like I said, people will want to root for her and want to follow her. So.
Well, definitely mission accomplished with this first issue. We can't wait to see where you take it. We got everybody in the chat co-signing their bias, but I have to agree. It does just make sense. And Jana, you really hit the nail on the head. Dark Pink and Pink Riot collab, but she also said podcastresses as vampires on the cover. I'm not anti being a vampire. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, look, I've put people. There's a lot of people in this comic book that are people in real life. You know what I'm saying? So like, I would have no problem like throwing throwing y'all on it. We could do like one of the shorts could just be like a very like a Pink Riot specific like short. You guys and Dara getting up into something. So
that would be
you guys have
dope.
been very supportive, and I appreciate it. And I want to, you know, I want to work with people that want to work with me. So
Period.
yeah, you know,
Right.
like I'm not trying to gatekeep nothing. I'm just one dude that made one comic. So, like I want to, work with all the people that have the same interests as me, that are into the same stuff that I'm into, finding my tribe and all that good stuff. So, so yeah, like we can have a little chat about that. Like I said, I'm gonna continue like the shorts and stuff, because I think it's a good way to add more content and add more value to all the comics. Like it was kind of like a something I needed to do in this first one, but I enjoyed it so much that I want to keep going and make sure like all the comics are like, this one's like almost 90 pages, so I want to have them all being like 75, 80, 90 pages, so people can get their money's worth, especially if I can't do it, like the major publishers and drop an issue every month or something like that. The least I can do is, if you have to wait 3 months, give you a whole story. So
Period.
Yeah, I like that.
Love that. Y'all are really going crazy with these ideas in the chat, but we love y'all
Oh
for
my
it.
goodness. Right.
We want to make sure that we're being respectful to you and your time, but we also want to make sure that you have the opportunity to shameless plug where people can find you, where people can, if it's possible to still get copies right now outside of the Kickstarter, where can people throw money towards other projects you have going on, all that. Just shameless plug yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, we're still selling Dark Pink. We got Dark Pink Comics with an S.com is the website. You can order. We're kind of running low on the Sade and the Dara X covers. But I ordered a bunch of the Purple Rain ones, so we got a ton of those. We have art prints, because there's so much great art. I was just like, well, we can just do some art prints. So we have like 7 or 8 art prints. We got a couple T-shirts. We got this shirt, and then we have the Purple Rain shirt as well. And yeah, so I'm trying to sell like 10,000 or something at this point. So
Nice.
so yeah, darkpinkcomics.com, at Dark Pink Comics on Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, and what's the other one? The one that I'm not on. If we have a thing, I'm not on there.
Blue Sky.
Threads. Thank you.
Okay.
I just did the Threads. So you can find me at Talented Mr. Ford on Instagram. And yeah, I just want to say thank you to you two for having me. Thank you to everybody in the chat that's picked it up. I really, really appreciate the love and support. Like, I'm super humbled by it. Like I said, I was like, man, can I just sell a couple hundred of these? And to get way past that has been like a blessing. And you're all helping me like live my dream and accomplish something I've wanted to do for like a very long time. So I really, really genuinely appreciate, you guys let me come on here and talk for an hour, and everyone that's even checked it out, anyone that just followed us on Instagram. Like, we have like 7,500 followers. I'm like, what? So, it really does mean a lot to me, and I'm super grateful.
Yes, we're grateful that you came through, and just know, like, you've been a vibe. We would love to have you back for the next Kickstarter, like, so we could be a part of the motion.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a great time. Like, I am a fan of you guys' show. I love the vibes. I love the aesthetic. I love, like, I like the color pink, so obviously. So, you guys have always been creating like really, really cool content. And like I said, like the vibes are great. So I was like, let me see if I can get on here. And look, here we are. And yeah, we got to do. We'll do something. I'll say it right now, and someone can clip this or do whatever. But I'm gonna get you guys into Dark Pink #2. Get your likenesses in there some way, somehow. We'll figure something out. So,
hey, y'all heard it here. Right? Exclusive.
yeah. We got to make it happen. So, we all work together. Teamwork makes the dream work, and all that good stuff. So
that's dope.
Yes. Oh, that's so awesome. Yes. Thank you again. Oh, we're so excited. Like, what? Thank you again for pulling up. Yes. Everyone's like, let me write that down.
Right.
Yeah. No, I'll start thinking about some stuff now. Like I said, got to do a side one of the like little PSAs. Like if you don't know, now you know. That's the name of the PSA series. So
yes.
I like that.
So yeah, you gotta bounce some ideas off of YouTube and see like how you guys want to be represented, because I want to make sure everybody is pleased with if you're gonna be on there, you got to be on there the way you want to be on there. So
this is so cool. I'm excited.
This. Yeah.
Yes, awesome. All of the vibes. But yeah, thank you so much for coming through. Like we said, we can't wait to see what you do next. You've definitely been an inspiration for us and for a lot of other people, like, and what their Kickstarter could be and what it needs to look like and all of that type of stuff. So yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. Keep grinding. It's clear that you love what you do, and that showed up in the story and in the way that you planned and prepared for your Kickstarter. So we definitely would be honored to be a part of anything you got going on moving forward, man.
Well, thank you so much for those kind words. I don't take any like compliments and those kind of words. I don't take any of that lightly, because you both could have just kept scrolling right past some ads. So anybody takes the time to check it out, and I'm so glad that you guys liked it, because you are the type of people that I had in mind. Like, this is like my fan base for this project, So I'm glad that you guys did enjoy it. I really do appreciate you're spending your money and taking your time out to talk to me about
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks again for coming, man. And we can't wait to have you back for the next Kickstarter.
Yeah, absolutely. Hopefully in the next couple of months here, maybe.
Okay.
Hopefully. So
that's exciting.
Right?
Yeah, I will keep you two posted, and yeah, we'll talk about the appearance. Like, I'm definitely down to make that happen. So let's go ahead.
Yeah. All right, everybody. One more time, Mr. Christopher Ford. Hold on, did you press? There you go. Later. Oh my goodness, I have to get better at that.
StreamYard just be hating. That's all.
Yo, just absolutely hating. That was awesome.
Yes, he's so cool and so chill. And that's crazy to think like about his writing chops and how prevalent that is for people to be like writing their stories as a script for a movie or a show before they consider comics as a medium. Like, the more and more we're hearing from people and hearing that, it's like, wow, that, and then they're all saying the same thing. Like, it's totally different chops to write a comic versus writing a script or a novel or something else.
I mean, but to see his first comic come out and the story doing what it did, I really enjoyed it. I'm so,
and that level of quality the first time around. So for him to say like, yeah, now I got confidence moving into the next one, it's like, my guy, was it not there before? Because what is this next one about to look like? You know what I mean?
I think above all things, what really, I mean, yes, the Kickstarter, I think that's advice that everybody needs to take. But like
Yeah.
hearing how much he did it for himself. Like
Yeah.
he created the story, he saw this space in the market and he was like, there needs to be something here and I'm going to put the thing I've always wanted to see out there. And I think that is the best thing you can do for art. Absolute
100%.
best thing you can do. And so that was really great. And to know that
Yeah.
he's just like living out his absolute nerd life in the best
Yes.
way was wonderful.
Can you imagine having to be like, all right, we have to hit these notes, and then like how much he, first of all, he was dropping bars, because how
Yeah.
much insight and wisdom does it take to say, wow, this is my baby, but I have to separate myself enough to be able to like actually edit this for what will make it the best version for everybody else, and to like
Is the way I
actually
would have
have
left
had
everything in.
exactly, like he put whole characters and like, can you imagine? So another comment that was said in the chat, but I didn't want to interrupt him as he was speaking. LT was talking about how, you know, based off of the interviews that we've had and stuff, it seems like indie creators are paying their artists and stuff better than Marvel
Yeah.
and DC. And I have to agree, because it's not a, I'm going to pay you whenever the cycle happens or whatever. It's like he said, I saved money for 2 years
Yeah.
so that I could pay people what they were due. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah. The
the level of
intentionality behind
respect
that.
that you have to have for the craft and for the
Yes.
people that you're working with to say, because he said it perfectly, the time's gonna pass regardless, and that's a whole nother thing too. But to be able to say, I'm gonna hold off on doing this thing that's been on my heart for this long so that I can do it properly and I can pay people what they're owed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like he went to, I love that he had that full circle moment too with one of the artists that like
Yeah.
initially got him into comics. Like he said, I'm gonna go for what I want, I'm gonna be Delulu and hop in people's DMs, and I've already saved
I did
money.
it.
So when they tell me the price, I can just be like, I got that. That's a whole
Yeah.
nother level of like, I have the vision and I'm going to do what I need to do to get there. And then to like have the patience to go slow. Can you imagine seeing the artwork for the like Sade cover, the Purple Rain cover? You got all these pages or whatever before you even get going on everything, and you're just sitting on it for
Yeah.
months.
Yeah.
Like, bro, my head would explode or something. Like, what are we talking about?
I mean,
Because
it speaks to having both the mind of an artist and, like you said, the mind of, a business person.
yeah,
Like, that's not something everyone can balance well.
yeah,
And he did really, really well with that. Like, absolutely great. So just,
100%.
yeah,
But yeah,
all,
and now he's
all
like, oh yeah, we cooking with fire. We gonna do it on
right.
this regular cadence and stuff like. He has a vision for it, and he has a plan to execute that because he didn't stutter. He's like, no, this is what this is what it looks like. And then he just rambled off all these other stories, ideas that he has of like building the world around all these other characters and stuff too. It's like, oh yeah, that's definitely something to look out for. LT said, sometimes there's real value in letting things cook and simmer. I bet during those 20 years he was learning so many other things that made this release a success. That's
That part. Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
And y'all, I'm just gonna keep being Delulu and asking people to put us in their books.
I was just about to say. I was like, oh my goodness, you asking again. But you know what?
I mean, y'all, she didn't stop
Do
me,
it.
but I could
I
tell on her
didn't.
face, like, here she go with this shit. But I'm gonna
Oh,
do
you
it.
saw that?
Everybody else might not have seen it, but girl, I know your face. You're like, Lord, here she go with this shit.
But you know what? Closed mouths don't get fed, so I let you go.
Okay.
I let you go.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You got it. So I'm not gonna say nothing.
Yeah. When we start racking up these Pink Riot variant covers, then what? Y'all, I'm so gassed because it's like, it's one thing to like talk about it just for the idea of it, but like we literally had people like responding to us sharing it in the stories thinking that it was our book, and it's like, nah. We wish we could take credit for that, but that's not our it's not our thing. Is it very much on brand? Yes it is. That's why we're sharing it, but no, that's not our book, you know. So when it's like, when it does align and it matches like what we're already talking about, things that already align with our branding, it's like, yeah, that would be perfect.
Yeah.